Welcome, fellow seekers of challenge and triumph, to the SufferSooner podcast. Join us on a journey where ordinary souls embark on extraordinary endeavors. From the relentless grind of gravel to the punishing gauntlet that is triathlon, we've tasted our fair share of suffering. So fellow endurance warriors, let's lace up our shoes, strap on our goggles, and dive headfirst into the challenge, knowing that with every step, stroke, and pedal forward, we grow stronger together. All right, guys, welcome to episode number 72, the Opal Wapoo remastered. It's hard to say.
I mean, we've been looking so forward to this.
I'm
episode.
excited. I'm like super amped up for this because this race is like when I first moved here and I did this race, I basically almost gave up on gravel. Like, it is so hard, and I never knew like. You're like, oh, Excelsior Springs, whatever. It's Missouri. How bad can it be?
Right.
And then you get out there, and I mean, it's been one of the races that anytime Phil puts it on, and there's been some years where they didn't have it, and there was some flooding, and then COVID and all that other stuff. But every year it kind of went away for a while, but now it's come back. But every time they had like, hey, we're going to go for a group ride out in Excelsior Springs, I'm like, I'm in, dude. Like, 'cause this is some of the hardest terrain to get in Missouri. Yeah. So if you want a ride that's challenging and puts you to the limit, this is your ride right here.
Yeah, well, that just scared everybody off, but
yeah, exactly. Which is my plan.
Right. But you're right, though. I mean, so this was the original version of this event was the first 100-mile gravel event that I did.
Yeah,
and then I think that was actually the year it was going to be, and then that was the year it flooded out.
Yep.
So, all right, so Phil, we've been waiting for months now. I mean, we talked to you. I want to say it's about this time a year ago. We drove up to Excelsior and chatted with you a little bit, and you kind of gave us a sneak peek. It was super hard to keep this a secret. Yeah. And you told us, you gave us a nugget. You didn't tell us exactly what was going to happen. You just said, hey, there's a chance this might come back. And we're like, oh my God.
Yeah. We've been excited. We've been so excited. So if anybody's been hanging around us after races, they've definitely heard us talk about this race, along with another race that we dearly love, but we won't mention because we mention it too much.
Yeah.
Open range. But yeah, Phil, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on and giving us your time. And it's always a pleasure to see you at some of these local events. And I love talking to you and Stacy all the time. You guys are just involved in the gravel community and just really involved in downtown Excelsior Springs with bringing that back and kind of making Excelsior Springs a little like hub for gravel. And then now some mountain biking stuff is going on in there.
Yeah. We are like officially underway building single track in Excelsior Springs. So it's pretty exciting.
So maybe tell us. Let's talk a little bit about the mountain bike. We want to get to the race, but
we'll get to that.
Tell us a little bit about the how this whole mountain bike thing came about, and I mean, just give us a little bit of background about, for folks that don't know you, like a little background about sort of how you found yourself in this situation of both the Opal Wapoo race being remastered, but then also this whole mountain bike thing, because it is really an awesome story, and looking forward to what you guys are doing up there.
Yeah, so the story really goes way back, probably to when I was in my mid-20s, maybe, I don't know, early 2000s. And I was really involved with trail building at the Blue River Parkway trails. I lived down that way. And I was single and I had nothing to do. So I was like building trails like 5 days a week. Like I'd
as you do,
right.
And I would just like run out there and start building trails. But so I did that in a serious fashion too. I would say, like I did some training and some things like that. So fast forward, I moved to Excelsior Springs. I began as a mountain biker, and I kind of that all went away when I moved because I wasn't close to a trail anymore. And so that's when I picked up gravel. And the longer I lived in Excelsior Springs, I'm just kind of looking around, and there's just all this like terrain and tree covered, property. And I'm just, you just start to, dream like, hey, it would be great if there was mountain bike trails here. And there's a really good trail running community in Excelsior Springs, and one of those guys, Russell Wins, he like kind of planted the seed with the city many years ago, and kind of just kind of sparked the idea, and then we talked about it for over the years, um, but then at some point I um, just decided it was time.
Mm,
It was just time to try to really make it happen and do what was necessary to do that. So that was a like a partnership with Urban Trail Company. I shouldn't say a partnership. I mean, these trails are built like under the guise of Urban Trail Company. So
okay.
Yeah, they're
um,
kind of like watching over to make sure you're
for
like
sure.
not making it too crazy, or like they're like, hey, you should probably not go over that big tree there and like
Yeah,
maybe go around it.
yeah.
Just keeping
If
you in
Just
line.
yeah,
They're just like speaking from
because I was gonna
experience.
say, and,
yeah.
and we know Phil well enough. He will send you through every tree possible.
Yep.
But we just so I started talking to the city of Excelsior Springs, and I mean, we talked lightly going back 3 years, and then we started having like serious conversations about a year ago, and just this past July, um, we signed an MOU between Urban Trail Company and the city of Excelsior Springs to give us land access to city-owned property to build the trails. So, but part of my selling point was that for this was, one of the first questions everybody always asks is, how are you going to fund it?
Hmm.
Right.
And it was easy for me to sell because I said, oh, well, I have this gravel race that I've been putting on for years, and for every year that we put on this gravel race, our goal was like literally to make like an extra $200, like at the end of the race, so that I could pay for like like uh, our web hosting.
Hmm.
And then I could
Right.
just start over again. We never tried to make money. In fact, we tried to just like come just a little bit extra, and so we also like the fee to enter our race in the past was actually pretty low for a long time. And so to me that seemed like a perfect marriage. Like, hey, we can raise the entry fee a little bit. And I
Right.
think
Hmm.
most cyclists are going to be okay with paying an extra 15, maybe even $25. And we're going to kick all that. Well, it's a shared thing between us and the Downtown Excelsior Partnership, but um, portion of all the funds raised for the race will go back to support the trails.
Yeah.
So,
And
I
I,
mean, we
and
have to
I
buy a
think,
lot of tools and signage,
yeah.
and so.
Hmm.
And I think too, like most of us cyclists we don't have a problem spending a little extra coin, knowing that it's going to benefit, more trails or more
Hmm.
bike access or something like that. I mean, we were at a race, and I saw you and Stacy there. We were at a race that was basically all the proceeds that basically came from that race were donated to the local NICA club in
Hmm.
Parkville. So like stuff like that is like, I don't mind paying, like, again, and I don't speak for the whole gravel community. I'm not that,
Mhm.
Hmm.
I'm not as much as, I think I am. I'm not, I'm not that guy, but it's just like that kind of stuff I can get behind.
Hmm.
The $500 entry fee for a lifetime event where it's basically the same
Yeah.
kind of stuff. I have it's a bitter pill to swallow
Yeah. And
as,
I mean, this is like the true definition of a grassroots gravel, and
yeah,
that's what I think. Again, most people have no issue spending a few extra bucks on
yeah,
things that when they know it goes to a good cause, and that's a nice way to tie the gravel event into really compounding and building out a mountain bike, and I mean, I assume the natural progression is now you could potentially have mountain bike events out there too if it starts to build out and you start to get a lot of uptake on the trails themselves. So I mean, this has where do you think this goes? I'm just kind of like, I don't want to
Yeah.
assume where do you think this goes, like 3, 4, 5 years down the road? I'm curious.
Well, those who know me as I'm a dreamer, and I've always got a million ideas. But I always also try to say, like, hey, every once in a while, I'm going to take one of those ideas and actually do it.
Hmm.
And so I pride myself on the fact that actually do follow through on an idea here and
Hmm.
there. But so, I'm super passionate about Excelsior Springs, especially downtown Excelsior Springs. I'm a co-owner of a coffee shop down here, and in a small town, um, you can't you this kind of works in multiple ways. One, from just the standpoint of I'm somebody that's passionate about cycling, but I also have a business that cannot succeed solely from the inside out. It has to Things have to happen from the outside in too. So,
Mm-hmm.
and one thing that I've really really tried to focus on is if I have all these crazy ideas, I look at the ones that are in my wheelhouse
Hmm.
instead
Yeah.
of trying to go after the ones that are outside my wheelhouse. And so to me, cycling is something I've done my whole life. And so that's really what I'm leaning into. So I'm kind of like the bike guy in Excelsior Springs. Like
Yeah.
somebody calls me up for every little, thing, which is cool.
Right.
And so so really what I hope happens is we have a nice single track trail system. We've got a great gravel race. um, there's some other things floating around, maybe with this is so far away, but maybe the hardest half ever. And
Mm.
so there's like a half marathon, and
It's the Berkeley Marathon Midwest style.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I
You've
could
heard of
even
you heard of
envision.
Berkeley's Marathon. Now
Berkeley's
you're gonna hear.
marathons,
Now
yeah.
you're gonna hear about Excelsior Springs
Yeah.
Marathon,
Yeah.
where
But I
dreams
could
go to
envision
die.
crit race. I mean, I think we could have a cyclocross race. I
Yeah.
just
Oh yeah,
think
for sure.
I think we could make Excelsior Springs like a little cycling mecca,
Mhm.
and I'll know that we've done that when it's feasible to open a bike shop. So
That's right.
Yeah. If anybody's been to Excelsior Springs, and if you're listening to this and you're just so pumped that this ride is back, there is a lot of good quality riding out there. Like the terrain is great, and it's not like it's super far from Kansas City.
That's
So
20 minutes from
yeah,
the
it's
airport.
from 20 minutes from the
25
airport.
minutes from the
Yeah.
airport. Yeah.
And it's one of those races that's like, you're going to be happy you did it, because it humbles you, and
Mhm.
it makes you
good way.
stronger. Yeah, in a good way.
Yeah.
And it's not like it doesn't crush you, but it does humble you.
Well,
for
we did
sure.
joke about how this is we've always viewed this as the hardest race in the Midwest, and that's not to try to scare people off. I mean, we joked a little bit about that at the beginning,
Yeah.
but it really isn't to scare people off. It is it's a difficult, it's as difficult as you want to make it, because you can push yourself way past any limit.
And I've done that.
Right. We've been
on the receiving end of that torture chest.
But you can also just ride the course and enjoy it.
Yep.
And you'll feel so much accomplishment when you're done with it. So I mean, I know we talk about how difficult it is. It is a hard course, but it is not an impossible course.
Yeah.
So,
I like to, what is it? I tell my athletes, just temper the expectation, right? So you're just kind of like, you're like, oh, it's 80 miles. That's going to be cakewalk, And then you look at the route and you're like, what the heck?
it's like a saw blade.
Yeah.
So I know we kind of jumped ahead there, but I want to come back just real quick on the, where do you see this going? Because I think that's really important. Like, what I just heard from what you said is, this is not something you dreamed up 6 months ago and you're trying to force it to happen. This is something that's been kind of throughout your adult life. You've been thinking about how can you how can you play a bigger role in building something like this? And I think what's interesting is you talk to a lot of people, whether it's cycling or just, anything in like a civil area, like in your, local city or local town. And oftentimes you hear people say, well, somebody should do X.
Yes.
And it's like, somebody should build a bike course, or somebody should do a gravel race here. And Travis and I heard this many times about, well, somebody should do a race, a race in the Northland or something. We've talked about wanting to put on a race, because somebody doesn't just come along. It takes somebody to do that. And what I heard you say, Phil, is you just decided it was time to make it happen. And
you're that somebody.
You're that somebody. Yeah. So that's freaking awesome, because too many people talk about it and they don't want to put the action behind it. And actually don't minimize how much work we know Phil's put a lot of work into this. Don't minimize how much work there is
Yeah.
to make something like this happen, because I can only imagine the ups and downs that came along with this, between just having to work with the local government, working with the financials of it, and trying to figure out, is this even going to happen? Like, just talk a little bit about the ups and downs of this journey. I mean, this is an awesome accomplishment, but I mean, it didn't come without sacrifice and without, a roller coaster to get here, I'm sure.
Well, I think the good news is Opal Wapoo, between Stacy and I, like we really built some equity in the community with the
Mm-hmm.
previous years of Opal Wapoo, and so when Opal Wapoo went away, because just quite frankly, my career crushed Opal Wapoo, and it just was no longer like feasible for me to do it, and also like protect my living, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do the race if I couldn't do it at a high quality. And
Yeah.
so we let it go, but I could never just fully let it go. Like we had the ghost of Opal, like
Yep.
and I had a couple people contact me who wanted to take over the race, and I didn't feel like it was the right fit. And we actually offered the race to a really huge gravel event
Really?
outside of our community. We offered to give it to them, just because I could not, like, it was so hard for me to just to say it's done, it's never coming back. Like I was willing to just give it away to the right person.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, my career changed. And now I'm a co-owner of a small business in town, and that allows, even though it's still a ton of work, I have flexibility
Mm-hmm.
to do more things. So, um, as far as like the ups and downs, things move slower, always move slower than you want them to. And so when you're working with a city or municipality or a 100% volunteer organization, um, when you're the one that's like trying to like make the thing happen,
Mm-hmm.
like I think in my mind I was hoping that in like 3 months, like I would just have a series of phone calls and like one meeting and boom, it'd be done. But that was not the case, because everybody has lives. It has, 100 things going on. So as bad as you want something to happen, you have to accept that the wheels turn slow. And
Mm-hmm.
if anybody like, you know, tries to make something happen in their community, or like go on a like journey like this, you have to know that like you have to be comfortable with waiting.
Mm-hmm.
um, because if you're not, if you're just incredibly impatient, you're probably gonna upset somebody, and burn a bridge, or you're just gonna give up because in your mind it takes too long. So I'd say that was the biggest piece, is just like accepting the time frame is
Yeah.
what it
Sounds
is.
like
So
sounds like you might have a future in politics too, Phil, because you figured out how to navigate the terrain
Yeah.
of the what's required to have a change in a city. And it's a small town. I mean, Excelsior Springs is a relatively small town, but it's still big enough that to your point, I mean, things never will move as fast as you want it to. And
yeah.
you even had support behind it, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I really had one individual who was, and I don't even want to say opponent because that's not
mhm,
fair to him, but
sure.
I had one individual on our city council who was, that, had a lot of questions and was, maybe concerned about, the future of this piece of land that we wanted to use. And
Yeah.
ultimately I figured out like I don't need to convince him that this is the best idea in the world. I just need to lay out the fact that, um, we can build something, and if that thing is embraced by the community, then everybody has their answer. I don't know
That's
if
right.
that makes
Yeah.
sense,
That's right.
Yep.
but
Yep.
like, I don't have to sell it. I just need the like buy-in to like make it happen, and then the proof will come in the like how what the usership looks like, and
Right.
Yeah.
so if we build trails and there's 5 cars parked in front of those trails every day, I think we'll have our answer. But if they just become an overgrown jungle and no one ever uses them, then we have the other answer. So
Sure.
I
Right.
was able to kind of like to walk that line a little bit, and not come across as like that I can not pretend that I know the future. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's a I can appreciate why people would question, like, hey, is this the right thing? I mean, there's obviously everything from what kind of impact will it have on our city to liabilities of it, and how do we know that Phil wasn't going to just up and leave this thing and leave us holding a bag somewhere? You never know. It's like, so I mean, I can understand why people would ask the questions. I think what's really important though is once this does get opened up, to your point, I mean, it's going to be really important that not just the community, but people from the outside travel to the community to take advantage of
Yeah.
what I assume will be an outstanding set of trails
Yeah.
in the end. And it's going to be really important that people, you know, show why it's so important to have these types of things. And then that's going to be a huge boost to the city. And you're going to get, a lot more interest, I'm sure, to do this again. So either build out further in Excelsior or, you know, other towns in the area may look to do the same thing. I mean, I don't think it's too hard to look. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I don't want to drag this point out too long, but Urban Trail Company has this long-standing history of constructing trails almost completely with volunteer labor,
Mm-hmm.
and in our small town, we're a little separated from Kansas City. The absolute, like, the thing that makes me the most excited and proud of this is our community will build this.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
the people who live here, the trail runners, the people who want to just take their dog for a walk, the mountain bikers, our community will build it. And when it's done, like, we didn't hire an outside contractor. We didn't spend $5 million. Like, we're going to have this amazing amenity in our town. And it's probably going to cost us less than $5,000 when we're done. So
that's awesome.
anyway.
Yeah. And I like that, and we'll move on to the race and stuff, but I do like the fact that like you kind of like, had this, ups and down with this person. And basically it came down to like, hey, let's try it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know until you try. Just like I never knew I would like gravel until I went and tried it. I never knew I would like triathlon until I tried it. All this stuff, like so much in life, you don't know you like it until you try it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wow, this is amazing. So yeah.
You show awesome patience, Phil, because my reaction would have been, I like my idea of doing something versus your idea of doing nothing.
Well, and to be fair, it wasn't against nothing. It was just, it was a different vision for the property.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
awesome,
like, we're going to make it a bird sanctuary, or like, how many bird watchers are here? Like, I don't know, like, something like that, where I have no idea.
How did you know it was a bird sanctuary?
Yeah. Could have been. So, but yeah.
Anyway. So again, we wanted to kind of get into that because that, to me, the backstory of this, it kind of ties into the race itself, as you said, but I think the backstory of sort of how your mind works and how you've thought about this whole idea of not just Opal Wapoo, but mountain bike trails, and how you're investing your blood, sweat, and tears into the city itself. I think that's really important for people to hear, because a lot of times people don't realize the sort of the human side of what it takes to put on these events and what it takes to build the things that we enjoy so much. Most of us think of it as, oh, I pay an entry fee to go somewhere, and then when I'm done, I go back home and I forget that place even exists. And like it's not like that, though. It takes a ton of work for these things to become a reality.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons we like talking to the race directors, because then you get to kind of see like behind the scenes what they're using the money for. It's not like Phil's driving his Mercedes. It's he doesn't have like the newest, flashiest.
Phil still drives the old tractor into town.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
I stole it.
He stole it.
I know.
You had to get it back. He's contacting the guy. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna need that tractor back.
Can I rent it back?
Can I get that tractor back from you?" So yeah.
Anyway,
but yeah, he's they're not making a fortune off of this, and the fact of like him and other race directors reinvesting in the community, it just kind of makes the community involvement so much better, because then they're out there cheering and they're like, hey, we see these guys riding and they're putting their blood, sweat, and tears out on our roads, on our, like I would have never thought to ride up that road or whatever. Right. And, and they're just, the community gets more behind it. And it's just kind of like, oh, I see what Phil's talking about now. Yep. Like, these guys are, they want to come and ride this ride. So this is good.
That's right.
Yeah. I think that's great to just kind of highlight that kind of thing. So
awesome. So now we get to the race itself, and all right, Phil. So Opal Wapoo remastered.
Yeah.
So I think first,
well, we had the Revenge. Then we had the Ghost.
The Ghost.
Then now we have the Remote remastered.
Right.
So it's gone through a couple iterations.
Yeah.
So if you've been here that long,
that's right.
And if you've got all the shirts,
I know we got the shirts.
I saw that
shirts. Yeah. I got the
and the bow tie,
the bolo. Yeah,
and the bolo.
Yeah.
So not the bow tie, but the
bolo. I knew what you meant. Yeah, that's okay.
So,
but so Phil, tell us a little bit about. You mentioned a minute ago about the remaster, but and how it sort of came back. But let's talk about maybe just how it differs from the original race, and not so much like the course like description so much, but just in general, like what's different about this go around versus say Opal Wapoo, the original version.
Yeah.
So probably one of the biggest differences is kind of boring. It's like on an organizational side, like the race used to be put on by Stacy and myself and then our friend Ben, and then the week of the race, like 20 of our friends. And so it was always a heavy lift and super stressful, because our previous date was in like the rainy season, or it would be 100 degrees out. So it was always super stressful. And essentially what we've done is we've given the race to an organization called Downtown Excelsior Partnership, which is just if you've ever heard of a Main Streets organization, they're all over the country. That's essentially what the DEP is. And we gave the race to the DEP. But Stacy and I are going to continue to kind of be at the helm of the race. So it kind of went from just being this like, thing that just supported itself to now a thing that supports other things, which we already talked about. But that's probably, the biggest difference. But the roads, from like the route and course standpoint, we are using some new roads. This will be the first year that we've done a complete loop, instead of repeating a portion of the course.
It used to be mostly a lollipop. Now it's an actual loop, which is awesome.
Yep. Except for the baby poo, the 20 mile distance, it'll be an out back.
It's hard to make a loop of 20 miles.
It is.
But a lot of the races is really very similar. Like we wanted to keep all the little like the little special things about the race in play. So we're still doing bolo ties, and somehow we're still going to do a tractor rollout. It may not be it'll be a much less cool tractor, unfortunately. But I probably won't kill the engine like I do every year.
That's right. That's right.
A little bit more practice driving it.
So the much more modern tractor, unfortunately, but a lot of just, and then 2018, 2019, we started in downtown Excelsior Springs, and to me, that's where it belonged. And then, as a lot of people know, in 2021, we had a flood, and so we moved the race to the airport literally the night before the race, and then we stayed up there the following year. But this gets the race back downtown where I think it belongs, like in the heart of Excelsior. And there's something about climbing out of Excelsior Springs when the race starts, as miserable as that is. It sets the tone for what you're about to do.
Yes.
And then when you're done, like you descend back into town, and like hopefully there's like this feeling of relief.
Yes.
Yep.
Except for one little thing at the finish line that I apologize for.
You found one last hill, guys.
Yeah. There is like this little bump right before the finish line that's really steep. It's just a few pedal strokes, but like I'm worried that there might be some like cramping
can-
happening on that
Yeah.
I
one.
can see this. I can see this already. Phil was like scouring the
Yep,
map. Like,
he's
did I
like,
did I check every hill? Wait, I think that's a hill. Stacy,
Yep.
we got to drive.
We
and go
gotta,
check this
yeah,
out.
we
I
gotta
think
check
that's
this
a
out.
hill.
I think we can get this hill in here.
Yes, we can work that in for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep.
So you get this nice little descent into town,
And
just
then
enough
you're-
to get the blood out of your legs, and
and
you're
then
finally
you're-
feeling good,
and
you're
then
like,
cramp right
"Son
up.
of a-"
I'm worried that we may have a lot of finish line pictures of people walking.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
that's all right.
But it is actually, it's the best way to the finish line. So
Yeah.
it wasn't on purpose.
So
Sure.
we the running joke for when I knew this was coming back, I was like, and then Phil's like, well, we're not going to have it in June like we usually do, so the daylight's going to be a little bit less, so we're not going to do the 100-miler, we're going to do 80-milers.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so you're just going to cut out all the flat sections.
And then you look at the map.
And then I looked at the map and I was like, he did it.
He listened to me.
He took out all the flat sections.
Where am I supposed to eat?
Yeah, where do you want me to eat, Phil?
In the first year that we had the race, we had 25 miles of just pancake flat roads down in the river bottoms. And
I loved it.
That's what everyone complained about. Everybody was like,
I don't, and then you're like, all right, guys. That's why you don't listen to us. We don't know what we want.
Right? No kidding.
Until you take it away from us. No. Yeah. So we have the 20-miler, and then we have a 45, 43-miler. Or is it 40? It's 46.
Yeah, the 40. So yeah, what we call the 45 is actually about 46, and then the
45
85 is actually about 83. So
yeah.
So the route the route plan changed multiple times over the last 12 months. So
yeah,
I just, one of the things that we really wanted to do was partner with Shamrock Hills Winery.
Yep.
And they're about 10 miles outside of town on gravel. And so that made the route planning kind of a challenge, because it's a great place to do an aid station and a place for crew to meet their riders at. But it's 10 miles from town, so it's not like perfect. It's not in like a great spot. Ideally, it'd be like halfway, but it's not. Right. So one really interesting thing that we're doing at Shamrock Hills is they've got about 300 acres out there, and they've got an ATV trail that kind of drops from where their tasting room is down to a lower gravel road. It drops about 150 feet on this trail. And so, for better or worse, we have decided to send the 45 milers and the 85 milers down this ATV trail.
Sweet.
Oh, nice.
So it'll add a little spice to the race, and a fair amount. I'm going to say probably most are going to dismount at some point in that half mile, if not once, maybe twice, or maybe 3 times. When it comes out on the gravel road, it actually comes out on like a dry creek bed.
Okay.
So if you've got some mountain biking skills, you'll be able to clean some of this stuff. But I would just kind of caution everybody, don't get too prideful on these ATV trails, because they are not like finished trails. So they're like kind of something you would ride a gator on, or a 4-wheeler. So
okay,
all right.
Travis is licking his chops. He's ready for that.
I'm ready for that.
Like, oh yeah,
oh yeah. All right, I'm up for the challenge. So yeah. So getting into some of the courses, I know that a lot of these roads, they're when we think gravel, like especially most of us, we always think of like Emporia, or even some of the gravel roads up here that are kind of, some of it's a little bit, there's not too much technicality to it.
A little chunky
here and there. And, usually there's a pretty good line. I noticed that like in Excelsior Springs, there is some gravel roads that are, you basically would be considering those like off-road dirt tracks. you know. So let's talk about, you know, that kind of stuff, just kind of
Sure.
tempering the expectations of, you know, hey, you're not going to be, you know, you're not going to be flying, you're not going to be bombing every descent, and you may be walking up some of these hills because it's, you know, not buffed out.
So the thing that I would probably point out the most is we have a lot of descents that also are curves. There's
Yes.
a fair amount of these, and some of them are really steep.
Mhm.
And what happens when it rains is that big ruts wash in these descents. And so the county to mitigate that, after we get a big rain and then there's giant ruts, they come and dump like a big pile of gravel in those ruts. So
This will solve
I
it.
yeah, I caution people because um, sometimes you'll get into one of those ruts and your tire has a tendency just to sink in the,
Mhm.
you know,
Grabs.
6 inches of gravel, and that's when you can kind of like lose control. And so it's real, especially on the edges of these descents. Like, I would just caution just everybody be super careful.
Yep.
That goes without saying, but you know, some people like just feel like they can bomb every single hill, and there's some spots where it maybe just it has no bearing on how good your bike handling is.
Mhm.
You just may get like kind of tricked into riding into a deep like chasm of gravel. So
Yep. I remember one of the first times I rode the Opal Wapoo race. I got stuck in one of these ruts and it was almost in the cornfield. so so yeah, it's one of those things that the another thing that I love about this course is that it's not straightforward.
Mhm.
You know, you think you're like, oh, it's gravel, it's straight roads, it's this and it's that. Whatever your ideal gravel riding is, it's, you know, the good thing about this route and the roads out here is it's not straightforward.
Mhm.
And so just take that with a, you know, grain of salt or a little bit of caution of just, you know, I've been on, I can vividly see the downhill washed out rutted one that we descend down into this guy's, like, he's got a property at the bottom. We cross this creek. That descent is
It's
it
pretty
every
tricky.
time it's scary for me.
Yeah.
And so even, and we've hit it both ways.
Mhm.
I think it's like, I don't know, like sheep pen or something like that. What do you guys call it? Or something like, but whatever,
Yeah.
something like that. But it's pretty well known. And so just when Phil tells you like, hey, this section here is a little tricky, just
Yeah.
know
You
it's
should
probably a
listen.
little tricky.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
and another good thing that I saw too, Phil, and for everybody, if you're curious about these routes, and Phil did a really great job of pointing out the tricky sections. If you go to the Opal Wapoo Facebook page, he's got all the routes, and then he also has him talking about the hills and the what to expect on each section of the course. So really good information there.
Yeah.
So if this is your first time riding it, I would highly recommend checking that out and you know, just absorbing the information the
Right.
best you can. So and thank you again for that, Phil. That was
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think those. Yeah, if you've never been up here, those are a great way to at least kind of understand a little bit more about what you're about to kind of embark on. Um, you know, there really are no grid roads up here.
Yeah.
Everything is
Mhm.
just kind of, it just snakes all over the place.
Yeah,
It has no
they did
rhyme or reason.
the old time of like, hey, this used to be a deer trail. Let's put a
It
gravel road up.
really is, yeah.
That's right. And so, yeah, so you're just be like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense until you're like out there and you're like, well, I guess we couldn't go over that cliff then, I guess. Like,
One of my favorite things about doing like any event is like I want to feel like I'm on like, and maybe it's because I live here and ride these roads, but um, you will feel like you are on an adventure. Like
yes.
Mhm.
whether you're like racing for a podium or a time, or you're just hanging out the back taking it easy, like no matter what, you're gonna feel like you're on an adventure because it's I think it's the absence of the grid pattern roads and just the wild kind of terrain. So
Yeah.
I think you just answered my next question, because I was going to ask you, like, what separates, from your perspective, I know how I would answer, but what separates Opal Wapoo from most other races? And you kind of said it there, but I don't know if there's something else you want to add. But I just think about that, like, you get a few miles out on this course. Once you get out of downtown Excelsior, like, you really don't know where you're at.
Yeah,
like, you can get lost real easily, like in terms of like your bearings, and like how you don't realize how close you are to maybe, like, major interstate or things like that. But, like, you feel like you're way out there on
Yeah.
some of these roads.
well, I mean, that is the answer, along with there's not a once you're out there, you're kind of out there. Like
Mhm.
you're not gonna roll through a town with a Casey's. Like that doesn't
Yeah.
exist out there. So um, I always tell everybody, bring more water than you plan on, even this time of year when it's not, because the the we call them endless undulations.
Mhm.
Like
Yep.
just the endless up and down just takes so much more out of you than gradual rollers or flats.
Mhm.
Yep.
It just you would both probably like have a better explanation for like physically why that is, but it just everybody that isn't from here is always like caught off guard by
Mhm.
by the continuous climbing that we have.
Yeah.
And I don't say this to brag. I'm not an incredible cyclist. I'm not in incredible shape, but I go ride these roads and I don't even think about it. I like
Yeah.
get in
You
the
just do it.
biggest gear I have and I just like ho hum up the hill, and to me it doesn't hurt. It's not a struggle. Like so if you can kind of mentally put yourself in a place where you're like this is just what I'm doing. It's not a big deal. I feel like your day will be more enjoyable,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
So
and
much
be
better.
okay with just ho humming up these climbs, and then
Yep.
coast down the other side if you
Yeah.
want. So,
Where have we heard this? This is like very familiar to some of the single speed
Yeah.
conversations we've had. I'm like, because I know I was thinking about the flood year, Phil. I think that was did the route get shorted to, did it get cut in
yep,
half that year? Is that the year it got
yep,
cut in half? And
yep.
I can remember, is that, like I said, that was going to be my first 100-mile gravel event. And I can remember getting to the nearly to the end of the, like, 48 or 50-ish miles, whatever it was. And I can remember, like, my Garmin said, like, climb 48 of 48 was on whatever the number was. It was some ridiculous number of
Yeah.
climbs. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness, all the climbs are over. And then you round the corner and then there's more climbing. I'm like, what is going on out here? I'm like, what? I'm like, this was supposed to be 100-mile day and I'm done at like 45. Like,
Yep.
I was ready to be done. And you're right. Like, it's your mentality, because I was not mentally prepared for that when I went out there. Physically I was fine, but mentally I was not prepared for that.
Yeah.
And I was asking too much of myself. And it was just, yeah, I was so thankful to be done. I was so glad that route got flooded out there. I was ready to be done.
By the way, that would have been the like by far and away the most difficult 100-mile route that I mean, that'll never probably happen.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
year, that route would have been crazy. It was like over 9,000 feet
I
of
was gonna
Yes.
say,
It,
like,
I remember it. I remember it kind of looking at it and going like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Cause
yeah.
it's like, it was basically it said on Garmin, like, or Ride with GPS, it was like 9,000 feet, but I was like, it's probably like closer to 1,000
10,000
or 10,000,
Yeah.
just, adding in some extra stuff. Cause, I was like that route, and to Phil's credit, like every route out there is going to be hard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at the 80 miler, it's 6.5K.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not
Yeah.
flat.
Minimum 6.5.
Yeah. Minimum.
And that's the thing. Like, people don't realize, like, we went out to Colorado, Phil. What was it? Was that 2 years ago? We went to Colorado, and we were talking with folks out there, and we were bringing up Opal Wapoo, like, cause we were, everybody gives us a hard time. They tell you we're open range fanboys, but what they don't get is Opal Wapoo had our hearts first.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just for the record.
Yeah.
So, but that aside, we would tell folks out in Colorado about your race, and like, they had a hard time believing that you could get 10 to 11K of climbing in 100 miles out here. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like this guy, Phil, he finds all the hills.
Yeah.
And he knows how to get
them
it.
all.
He knows how to pack it in.
Yeah.
So, but it's true though. Like you can get, like in Colorado, typically you sail with about 1,000 feet for every 10 miles.
Yeah.
And like you can legitimately get 1,000 feet per 10 miles out here on these courses. I mean, it's not hard to do. It's just, that's just the way the terrain is.
Yeah.
So,
That's just the way it is out there.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that, again, I can't stress this enough, but this course you'll find something out about yourself.
You will learn something about
yourself.
You will
learn something about yourself out there.
That's what I love most about it, is like these types of courses. This one's kind of unique. Like there's just not many like it, but I love that when you find events like this, that you, to your point, you will always learn something new. Like you will take something away from this day that you did not know going into it. And that is so rewarding after that. It's always the type 2 fun, but it's just so rewarding.
Oh, I'm going to hate every minute of it.
But then
I'm going to be, I'm going to be cursing your name until I cross that finish line, Phil. And then I'm going to be so happy I did it.
Be like, when do we come back?
When's next year? Like, shut up and take my money.
Can I register now?
So awesome. Well, Phil, what is there any? So again, if you're in Excelsior Springs, these roads don't roll up. You know, they're you can ride on most of these. Phil's, he's down in the coffee shop, so you can,
Can we just talk a little bit about the coffee shop? Because we don't normally promote a lot of things on the show, and we always give people, our guests, the opportunity to promote whatever they want. You didn't ask fast for this. I'm asking if we can.
Yeah. We asked Phil if he wanted.
We asked Phil.
He's like, oh, you don't really have to. So.
Right. But I want to say, like, I'm not like a coffee shop aficionado. I don't stop in all the small town coffee shops, but when we went up there to see you last year, Phil, to chat with you a little bit about just Opal Wapoo and some other things. And I got to say, you've got quite a little shop there, and you also have some darn good food. So can you just give us a little overview of the shop itself and just kind of a little story about, how that came to be?
Yeah. So good friends of mine, Linda and Jody Pasledge, opened the shop in 2021. And I, like, people are going to be shocked when they hear this, but I became very good friends with them by attending Run Club every Wednesday. There was, I still like to go out and run a little bit. I hate it. But
all right, wait, hold on.
Time out. This is not a cut. This is a timeout. We're gonna ask the question. Travis, do the honors.
Phil, have you gotten the runner's high?
Well, maybe in high school cross country, actually, but
no. We said runner's high.
Runner's high, not the regular high.
Oh, the drink.
No,
we have a drink called the runner's high.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
All right, we're gonna take a trip. When we're up there, we gotta stop.
Yeah, we're gonna get the runner's high for sure.
But but essentially, they opened the shop kind of with this theme of other trails, like basically taking other journeys in your life. I think was in general the idea, and so they kind of themed it after, different trails and hikes and cycling, and so that's kind of how they their vision when they opened it. And then a couple years later, when I joined, like that, what a perfect fit, right? Like,
exactly.
And so we kind of took that even further, where we've kind of just become the place that if somebody's in town and wants to go for a run or go for a bike ride, like they just send them to us. And I love that. And then another really cool thing that not a lot of people know is, if you're familiar with the adventure cycling routes that traverse the country, the Eastern Express Connector, which is like a main route from like Indianapolis to a town in Colorado that I'm going to forget. But we are literally on the Eastern Express Connector route. So we often get, we had a whole family from Germany that was riding across the country.
Wow. That's awesome.
Just people just show up randomly and they're just riding across the country. So we are literally on that route. So, it's like a match made in heaven for me. It's like, it's a small business. It's something it's become like the meeting place for our community, and it allows me to explore my passions for sure. So, and I think we're a great coffee shop. So,
Yeah.
you
guys have really, you still do the pizzas, right? And the calzones, right?
Yeah.
Yep, we do pizzas and calzones.
Oh my gosh, they were so good.
They were so good.
Yeah.
We get really amazing coffee from a roaster in Boulder, Colorado,
Okay.
that ships to us weekly that you won't find anywhere in the Midwest. Like really amazing fair trade organic beans that aren't like torched and over roasted. So
Yep.
I won't tell you that we are like a hip urban specialty coffee shop, but I still think our game is pretty good. So
I think that's what I like most about just when I went in there, the vibe of your shop was not the typical coffee shop vibe, and I don't mean that in a negative way toward other coffee shops. I just mean like, you know how it is. You walk into shops and they all kind of have that same vibe to them. There's nothing wrong with it, but they're all kind of the same, right? And that's what I liked about yours was, to me, it had more of that feel of kind of the down home kind of feel, because you don't feel like you're walking into the city coffee shop. You feel like you're walking into the small town coffee shop. You're a very welcoming shop, and the drinks and the food are phenomenal. So I mean, you've got all the great sides, the great parts of a big city coffee shop, but you have that sort of small town vibe and feel that's very welcoming, and you have a great little thing there. I hope a lot of people stop in and visit, whether they're for Opal Wapoo or they're for the mountain bike trails or just up in the area. Yeah. So,
So
cool.
Cool.
What else you got? I got some rapid fire.
All right. Well, Phil, we have we always ask ChatGPT some questions, probably about your race, I'm sure.
Let's see.
We'll see. It's not us, remember, so don't get mad at us. It's
That's right.
ChatGPT.
This
It's
is
the
not me,
AI
actually.
who you have to.
This is the bot.
All right.
This is the bot.
But
that you have to
I know Phil loves. He was hoping he could avoid this segment. So
yeah, I'm sure.
He gets put on the spot here. So, all right. So there's 5 questions, and then there might be a bonus question. We'll see. But looks like the first couple are about the course itself. Hardest part of the course that makes riders hate you?
It's just the overall course.
It's the whole thing.
If you're doing the 45 or the 85, like you're gonna hate it right out of the gate. Even before you hit gravel, you're gonna climb a massive hill, and then you're gonna climb.
The climb out of town is pretty gnarly too.
And then you're gonna be on, I like really big rollers on County Line Road, and then it's just gonna keep going. Just it's not gonna end.
It's not gonna.
It's never gonna end.
So just embrace it. Just
embrace.
Like give it a hug. Like just like this is what I'm gonna do today. Like,
this is what I'm gonna do.
This is my life.
I hate you, Phil. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love how you deliver that.
Yeah, that was great.
That's awesome. All right, so what's the worst excuse you've ever heard for someone quitting?
The worst excuse, man. I can think of some like great excuses for quitting that someone didn't quit.
Let's maybe throw that in too.
It's really strange. Like, I don't feel like we've had a crazy amount of DNFs in our race somehow.
Yeah.
Like it's really strange. You'd think we would have to pick up like 50 people. And it's never like that. We usually pick up, 3 or 4, and maybe somebody gets picked up by a family member here and there. But man, the worst excuse for quitting. I mean, I feel like the excuses are good ones.
All right, well, let's hear one of those. Yeah, let's hear one of those. Let's hear one of the best ones.
I didn't know it was going to be this hilly.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think some people just get in over their head, and that's
sure.
But I just don't, man. I can't think of like a bad excuse. I feel like they all have good excuses. We did have somebody like break their chain, and they like were just like pushing their bike and then like riding on it when they could get it to roll. And that gentleman smoked a cigarette when he got to the finish line.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
That's
get my pack of Marlboro out here.
I earned this.
He did like 10 miles like that with no chain.
Oh, nice. I will. You know what? We'll take that answer.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's awesome.
That's good. So this kind of you probably already described it, but let's hear it again. Section that destroys legs and egos the fastest.
section. They're also
Every part of the
Every-
course
it just
section.
really is. There's not like
There's not one that
just
stands out, right?
Yeah, there's not one that sounds out. This course is basically death by 1,000 cuts, and if that
Yeah.
cut was like a samurai sword.
on the 85-mile route. If you watch my little screen share thing on the 85-mile route, there's like the 25 miles leading up to Shamrock Hills Winery. That 25 miles changes directions constantly, and it's just constant climbs. It's always constant climbs, but I think once you get out there, you're going to feel like so isolated, and it's going to be a little brutal. But we do give you, for the first time ever, a really awesome pavement descent at the end of that 25 miles. That you'll be like, instead of cursing me, you'll be like, thank you, Philip, for this. Before you get back into it, but
Yeah, before you start back on the hate train.
I like how he's trying to redeem himself already.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. All right. So, one word to describe riders after finishing.
I want that word to be elated, but it's probably destroyed.
But
That's
elated,
how I thought about it too.
I was gonna say, I think the elated part, in all seriousness, I think the elated, if you're not elated immediately after, you will be.
Yeah,
You will be within a couple of days.
Yeah, either a couple of
hours,
minutes.
Yeah.
Once
Like,
you get some food in you, you'd be all right.
I keep coming back to, like, you will learn something about yourself on this course that you didn't know, and you'll be so happy you did it. So yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, not to like brag on us too much, but I truly do believe, like, when you finish, whether it's the 45 or the 85 mile, when you get that thing done, I think you really will have a special feeling. I've heard that from a lot of people over the years, because it's just, once you do it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah, exactly.
You can say that you did something. We talk. I think people in our kind of world talk about doing hard things, like how like important it is to your life, but how special it is too.
Yep.
Like, this is a hard thing that is really hard. It's a little extra hard. So when you get it done, it's a special feeling for sure.
I think, and we haven't really mentioned any other races, but I think a lot of people, especially in this area, but just in general in gravel cycling, everything seems to get compared to Unbound or one of the major events. And what's interesting is, having done your events and then several others in the area, but yours specifically, and then going and doing Unbound, the 100, you can't compare the 200. It's not fair for any race to try to do that. But I think when you compare, it's like, it's almost like the Unbound event, the 100. It's like, I don't want to say it's a letdown, but it's not as hard as you think it is.
Yeah, you don't think it's like half as hard as the 200,
right?
It's like maybe a quarter of hard,
right? But
of the
like
200.
But I go back, like, if I were going to go back and tell myself, like, before the Unbound 100, like, hey, you've already done something much harder than this. It's called Opal Wapoo.
Yep.
And so you are more than prepared for this. And that's what I mean. Like, when I say you're going to learn something about yourself, you may not even recognize it right away, but you will learn something. You'll take something away from your race, this race, that you just won't anywhere else. And I just love that. That's why I love so much about the event itself. So, well, that's awesome. So ChatGPT is something. It heard us talking about the coffee shop.
Yeah.
So it decided to throw a couple questions in there. So, what's the weirdest thing you've seen someone do while drinking coffee there? Or eating?
So we once had this. I don't know if this is like right in line with that question, but we once had a customer come in, a very nice lady, and she spent a long time in our shop. And when she left, she brought me so we kind of like by the front door, there's a place where people can put flyers and like promotional stuff. Well, she had taken a flyer off the counter for like a blood drive or something.
Uh-huh.
And on the back, she wrote us like 30 suggestions on how we could make our coffee shop better. She critiqued our holiday. She critiqued our holiday decor.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
like she like it's like she investigated the entire space and gave us like her recommendations for improving our shop. So
Oh wow.
I'm assuming it was unsolicited. You did not ask her for
it
her
was not
recommendations.
unsolicited. And I felt bad that the blood drive people like lost their flyer.
Yeah. Did she have any good ideas?
They were
Most
ideas.
of them were pretty off
They were ideas.
They were really not good. They were like just kind of oddly strange. Like
Yeah. I love working with the public.
Yeah.
It's so great.
instead of a Christmas, like I think it was like around like the holiday season, and she was like, instead of a Christmas tree here, you should consider like I don't even remember, like an
Yeah.
orb or I don't, who knows.
You know, that fascinates me because I'm like, she probably walked out of there thinking she did you a great
Oh,
service.
yeah.
Oh
you
yeah.
know? Like,
No.
and I'm just like, how do you get to that point where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna take the flyer, write down all these ideas.
They're gonna love
They're gonna
me.
love it.
They're
And
gonna love me.
anyway,
they're gonna do all this stuff and it's gonna be great.
I feel bad that like she's probably come back in and we didn't do any of the things that she talked
sure.
about.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Should have done one of them
just
for the heck of it.
just for the heck of it. And then we got another flyer that ripped off. It said,
Yeah,
why the
you
hell
don't know.
did you
Yeah,
put this here?
it's like you see her again. You're like, well, we did all the things, and then we got another flyer that said we should not do all the things that we did,
Right,
and then so
right.
we just
Anyway.
basically just ended up where we
You know,
were.
we just took all the decorations down.
Yeah,
It's just 4 walls.
it's just 4 walls. Now.
Anyway, all right. So I one more here. What's the most ridiculous thing someone has tried to order and you actually made it?
Oh, should I tell that I actually made?
Well, you don't have to. You can.
Yeah, you don't have to say if you made it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You don't have to say if you made it, but maybe it's a 2-parter because I'm
Yeah.
really now the way you reacted. I'm interested to hear what this.
Yeah,
one
I'm
Well,
sure
I have
there's
this-
a good one.
I have this this thing that happened recently. Oh shoot! I don't know if I should talk about this.
It's okay. Only 100 people
This-
subscribe
this
to
is-
this, so
the internet's forever. So.
yeah, the internet's
Okay,
forever, Phil.
So, like I said before, we're a small town coffee shop. We're not
Yeah.
like your specialty shop that like where you walk in and you're like, I would like a cappuccino and I would like it to have 1.3 ounces of espresso and like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's like 2
super
pumps of
detailed.
this,
Some
skinny,
people
yeah,
can be
skinny
very
light
specific,
oat milk,
like,
all that
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
like we can do most things, right? But we had a customer came in and asked for a drink a specific way. I'll just tell you what it is.
Okay.
She asked for a. She was also wearing a mask. I will point that out.
Sure.
So, but she asked for a dry cappuccino, and so in my head, I know what that is.
Yeah, I'm like, is that just an espresso shot?
But
Is that powdered
but
milk?
Right.
a cappuccino is already dry.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's going through my head. Well, anyway, we had this back and forth where I like really took it seriously. Like I wanted to like make her the thing
Mhm.
that she wanted.
Yeah.
And evidently we failed. And
Hence, you got a list of stuff.
But she never tried it.
over the
she just
counter.
looked at it. She just looked at it and knew that we failed. She never tried it.
Hmm.
And so I shouldn't tell a story. She by the way, like difficult customers, like in the last 2 years, I've probably had 3, and this is one of them. So like
Yeah.
it just doesn't happen very often. Like we're super laid back and it's a great place to be. And
Yeah, it's just the way the public is. It's
But
just
this-
sometimes there's some people out there that are just like, some village is missing their idiot.
So she takes the drink and she pays for it, and then on her way out the door, she opens up the trash can, which is like inside of a cabinet,
Yeah.
and like hucks it, the whole thing.
Oh, man.
And so I was like, if I were the manager of a Starbucks, I'd be like, well, that sucks, but there's nothing I can do about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you are the owner of your own business,
Mm-hmm.
you get to kind of like, on occasion, I'm not saying this is a good idea, but I may have pursued a conversation with her.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, like, if you don't like it, I can give you your money back, or
Yeah.
like we can make you something else. Anyway, long story short, I turned to one of our employees and like, in 3 minutes we will have a 1-star review, and in
Yep.
3 minutes we had a 1-star review.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I was so mad about it that I'm like, I cannot let this person win.
Yeah.
Like, they cannot win, and they took our rating from a 4.9 to a 4.8.
Oh,
So I was even extra mad.
yeah.
So I just got on my Facebook page and told the story. I'm like, hey, if you love what we do, give us a review. I didn't even tell anybody what review
Sure.
to give us.
Yeah.
And then like in the next 2 days, we got like 35 5-star reviews. And
Nice.
we
Yeah.
got our 4.9 back. So
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's probably not what ChatGPT was looking for, but
You know what?
Hey, I'll take it.
ChatGPT doesn't be the arbiter of answers. It just
Yeah.
asks questions.
It's just
sometimes you
ask
got to
questions.
find creative ways to fight back.
That's right.
Yes.
As I said, Phil has politics in his future. I can
Yep.
see it. He knows how to answer questions without answering them.
Yep. Him and Bobby together.
That's right. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. So Phil, one more question, not a rapid fire, just one more
Yep.
question that I like to ask people because I think it's a good way to reflect. What would today's Phil go back and tell Phil of, say, 10 years ago about what you've learned, and like what's one good piece of advice you'd give yourself 10 years ago?
It's gonna sound super cliche, but
No,
just
don't worry
like
about it.
just don't take yourself too seriously, and especially in the moment,
Yeah.
because if I'm guilty of anything, it's being like reactionary in the moment, and then when you step back, you're like, really wasn't a big deal, and so I think I've gotten better at that over probably the last 10 years. But as cliche as it sounds, is just
Yeah.
don't take life too seriously. Like nothing is real. Nothing is really that important. Like
Mhm.
Yep.
there are some important things in your life that you've got to like hold on tight to, but
Sure.
in the grand scheme of things, like all the things that like happens throughout your day, none of that is really matters that much.
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
just relax a little.
Yeah, unless it's a 1-star Google review or
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I did.
I know, right? I was gonna say, like, it sounds like you already learned that, like, because you handled that far better than I think 99% of us
Yep.
would have. So,
Yeah. I would have said something to her on the way out.
oh my gosh,
Yeah, like something just, I guess you like the coffee. And then just like, and then she would have came storming back in,
well,
chewing me out. But that's why I don't manage a coffee shop.
you got that right. But yeah, no, all kidding aside, I mean, that's good. I mean, I don't think there's ever can't seem to work my microphone today. I don't think there's ever like a cliche answer to those kinds of things. I think a lot of times it's those simple answers. It's like, that's the reality. It's like there's so much we learn every day about how to do things differently, and whether it's your career, bike races, any of that kind of stuff. Like it's always good, I think, to reflect on it. And Phil, I can tell you, we are super pumped that you brought this event back, and even more pumped, I think, of what you're doing in the town of Excelsior. And
Yeah,
it's on the northern suburbs of Kansas City. A lot of people in the area know a little bit about Excelsior, but probably don't know much. They probably, if they know Excelsior at all, they probably know it for, Wabash barbecue or something like that. But they don't.
Elms Hotel. Yeah.
Elms
Yeah,
Hotel,
Elms
right?
Hotel,
The
yep.
Elms, right? But they don't think of it as the hotbed for cycling. And I think you're doing some awesome things to turn it into that. And it's going to be fun to watch. I can't wait to have you back on, and we get to talk more about some of the successes and some of the stories of people that have taken advantage of what you guys are doing up there.
Yep.
So,
well, thank you. And by the way, I love your guys' podcast.
Thanks.
Not just because I know you. Like I enjoy it a lot. A lot of
Good.
mornings at the coffee shop before I have customers. Like I got your podcast rolling while I'm putting
You're like-
cookies in heaven. So
You're like, let me listen to these two goofballs.
I feel a little down about myself.
I'm a little down. Let's see what these two idiots have to say.
So, Phil, I know we didn't talk about it, but maybe when next time you're on, we will. But tell us just a little bit briefly about, like, you're into music a lot too, right? That's kind of one of your other passions, right? Can you
it
tell us
is. I wish that I wish I had more time to dedicate to it.
Mhm.
I think there may be a time in my life that I can kind of go back to it some more. But yeah, I started playing guitar when I was like 13 or 14,
Yeah.
and it was like really pivotal for me, like in my like adolescence, when you're, I don't know, just I can get like real sentimental about it. But I had a guitar teacher who like was like a mentor to me, like all the
Mhm.
way until I graduated high school, and probably kept me kept me on a really positive path, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, music's been really important to me. I like think of myself as a songwriter more than anything. Like, I'm not like a great guitar player or a great singer. I like writing songs.
Yeah.
And so I played in a band, several bands, but I played in the last band I was in. We played for about 15 years, and we played a bunch of local gigs all over town. We did that for a really long time, and I can truly say I loved it. But I just do too many things.
I was gonna say, I bring that. I only bring it up here towards the end because I haven't known you a long time, but I've known you long enough. Like, you have an array of passions, and like,
Yep.
it just goes to show like how hard it is to find the time to do everything you love to do.
Yep.
And I think, again, I go back to, for you to put the time into cycling, the mountain bike trails, the coffee shop, like, I don't think people understand what a sacrifice it is, because you're putting so much time. And it's not because you don't want to do it. It's obviously
Yeah.
not that. It's because you love that side of it. You know, it's a quick way to help the community and to help people around you and to do something that's really important to you. But it comes at a cost. And there's a lot of things that I know you would probably love to get to. And I just bring the music up because I know that's something that I've seen just on, like, through your Facebook posts and just
Yeah.
talking with you in the past. It's awesome to see, like, how much you've accomplished, despite, like, the fact that you want to do more. I know you do, but it's just so awesome to see.
Yep.
So
Yeah. I wish
It's
I had a
inspirational.
second life to like just live alongside the one I have.
That's right.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Things. So
Yeah. And I said, it's inspirational because I think a lot of people get fixated on certain things, and hopefully people can kind of take from that
Yep.
and use you as an inspiration, because I mean, you're accomplishing some really awesome things up there, and whether you recognize that now or not, it's gonna come back, and you're gonna realize how much of a role you played in the community and how important you are. So that's awesome.
Yep. So, yep. Thank you for coming on, Phil,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
sharing your time with us. And I'm sure we'll have you on again, because
Oh, we will.
we'll have you on the post race to just chew you out for all the hills. No.
We'll just put a picture of you up there. Be like, well, Phil's being awful quiet today.
Well, I'll see everybody out on the course. I'm going to be out there. So
Okay, good.
Great.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll see you, and we'll see Stacy too, and
Yep.
and,
for sure.
and then all of our other gravel friends. So, again, if you are in the area and you want to do a fantastic grassroots race that's benefiting, the mountain bike trails in Excelsior Springs, and come and challenge yourself in October, this is the race to do. So definitely check it out, Opal Wapoo. On the Facebook, there's still registration open. I think it hasn't sold out yet. It's probably
it
close.
closes a week from tomorrow. So
Yep, week from tomorrow.
Yep.
So yeah, get in there, get it done. Come say hi to us when you see Phil out there. Thank him for finding all the hills when we're out there, and and just have a great time. So thanks again, Phil.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Please, if you like what we are doing here, leave a like, rate us, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. It really helps us grow and finds us more SufferSooner squad mates. And remember, when the finish line feels impossibly far away, we don't give up, we push harder, we dig deeper, and we find solace in the knowledge that our suffering is temporary and our resilience is forever.